It is a case that has spurned a lot of emotion and a lot of interest. So joining us to break down how cold cases are handled and the current state of policing in our country, which took some turns today, is King 5 law enforcement analyst and former King County Sheriff John Urquhart. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
You bet.
This cold case in Tacoma, it really has generated a lot of emotions. We saw the search happen after a tip came to law enforcement, and then it turned up nothing. Really complicated. How does this happen, a search like this after a tip comes in? Just walk us through it.
Well, you know, there's so many cold cases out there. Tacoma says they've got about 150 going back to 1936. King County Sheriff's Office had probably 200 cold cases or missing persons that were probably homicide victims. So you get a tip, you're gonna evaluate that tip. Is it good? Is it genuine? Can you make something of it? And remember, to get a search warrant, which I'm sure they had, you have to convince a judge that it's more likely than not that you're going to find evidence at the place to be searched. So they went in there for 3 days, tore the place apart, didn't find anything, which really didn't surprise me too much.
Really?
Because most of these digs turn out to find nothing. I mean, you dig up a backyard, a back 40, the forest, a pasture, a football stadium. You know, think of Jimmy Hoffa. All the times they've done digs there and haven't found anything. So it would have been great if they'd found remains, but they didn't. And that's too bad, certainly.
And then we saw Tika, Lewis's mom, the reaction. It's so hard for families that are holding on to hope and have been searching for decades for answers. But it's also hard on the law enforcement officers involved in cases like this, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. You get tied to a case, and especially when you're talking about a child, a 2-year-old in this case. That case really becomes part of you. And in this case, it sounds like they've had the same detective working on it for quite some time. So I can guarantee you she is involved in the case, involved in the family, and really wants to get some answers. You're never going to bring closure to a family. Maybe you can bring justice, maybe you can get them some answers, but that's about it.
When you think of all the years with no answers, Tika would be 27 today. I mean, that's just such a long time for a family. I wanted to switch gears because there's a lot happening in D.C. as it relates to policing. The DOJ announcing today that it's closing investigations into several different police departments. We have a list of some of them in Phoenix, in Trenton, New Jersey, Memphis, Tennessee, Mount Vernon, New York, Oklahoma City, the Louisiana State Police. What do you make of them just dropping these investigations?
I think it's too bad. I think it really is too bad because some police departments need the Department of Justice to come in and help them get into the 21st century. You know, Seattle Police Department has just been through a 12-year consent decree, and it's made a better police department out of them. So the DOJ is doing that. They've gotten rid of prosecutors that were working on some of these cases. They've just gotten rid of the public integrity investigators for the FBI, and they investigate politicians at every level, pretty much in every city where there's an FBI office, for corruption on their part. And that's a bad thing too. So investigators, prosecutors, and now these consent decrees.
And the timing, I don't know if it's coincidentally or not, but dismissing oversight agreements, these consent decrees in Louisville and in Minneapolis, after the DOJ found that there was a pattern of misconduct after the death of George Floyd 5 years ago this month and after the death of Breonna Taylor. What kind of message is that sending to the country?
Well, clearly they found that there was a there in these police departments. They don't always find that, but I think they did in these cases that you're talking about. And what that says to the public is your police department is going to have to fix themselves. And boy, that's hard to do. Hard to do. Sometimes you need the hammer of the Department of Justice of the federal government.
Do you think, and we're out of time, but do you think cities should move forward with trying to implement the changes that they promised they would make, even if the DOJ says they don't have to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I knew you'd say that. Sheriff Urquhart, it's always a pleasure. We always love your insight.
Okay.
You've been here for so long, giving us such great information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joyce.
Appreciate it.